Right, good morning everybody. This is our weekly live in the My Dog Pulls group, and today our discussion topic is using treats for teaching loose lead walking. I can't see at the moment I've got anybody watching, but as I say, this is a weekly group that I do, weekly live that I do, so I'm here every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock with a different topic each week. I say if you've got any topics you'd like me to discuss, let me know. Always willing to discuss different topics. People are coming now. Morning, Lenny. So please let me know anything you'd like me to discuss, anything loose lead walking related, and we'll discuss it. So today we're talking about using treats for loose lead walking. Now, a lot of traditional loose lead walking classes use lots of treats, and it's all about rewarding the dog for being by your side, which in a class environment works brilliantly. However, not always the case when you're walking in day-to-day life and enjoying your daily walks. So let me start off with a bit of a story for you. A few years ago, I was teaching classes in the Scout Hut, in our local Scout Hut where I've been working for quite a while now. I was standing at the window waiting for my next class to arrive. I watched the group of owners walk across the playing fields, because it's kind of a playing field, it's a car park one side, they walk across the playing fields and then the Scout Hut's in the corner of the field. So the owners were walking across the playing fields, chatting away, and the dogs were frantically dragging the owners away on the lead. So there was lots of tight leads going on. The owners were completely oblivious to what the dogs were doing. They were so busy catching up with their classmates and chatting away. So I watched this as they came across the field. They then came into the class, and I got them all to sit down and put their dogs on the mats, which is how we start every single class. And the idea of this is it's a way of just kind of getting them calm, getting them used to the environment, and just settling them down before they get ready to learn. Because if a dog is too excited, of course, they just can't learn. So I always start classes by getting everybody just to settle on the mat. So they were settling on their mats, and I decided then the first exercise of the group was going to be doing some lead work. Because to be honest, the lead work coming across the field that they'd all demonstrated was actually quite embarrassing. So I set out a little course of some cones for them, and one at a time they were all doing their lead work. All the dogs were amazing. They walked beautifully by their owner's side. The owners were paying attention to them. They had their treats available, and they were doing everything that I taught them in previous lessons. They were just demonstrating almost kind of obedience style heel work. It was amazing. So the class continued, as it did, with various different exercises and things we're doing. I set them the homework, and I said goodbye to the group. Off they went back across the field, and I, interestingly, stood at the window and watched them. Once again, the owners were chatting away after class, and the dogs were pulling on the lead. And this happened all the way across the field back to the car park. At that point, I was kind of in despair. None of them were doing the exercise they'd been taught in the class. And the dogs, they performed perfect lead work in the group, but it obviously wasn't translating to the work out on the field. Now, this is something that dogs do sometimes struggle with, learning in different contexts, but also it was something that the owners were struggling with. The owners' behaviour in the hall with the dogs versus on the field was very, very different. So there was no way that those dogs were going to kind of get that nice loose lead work while their owners were chatting away, not paying them any attention, and didn't have the treats out. So it was quite interesting to watch the two. So that really, really got me thinking and made me realise that actually the heel work that we kind of traditionally teach in classes really doesn't necessarily work in the real world with pet dog owners. Now, I'm saying pet dog owners, I use it myself as well, the new methods that I'm teaching. And what I mean by that is I do a bit of competition obedience with my Dalmatian, and I do get him into that nice close heel work because that's what's required. But on our walks, I don't necessarily want him right by my leg. I want him to be enjoying the walks as much as I do. I don't want to have to fully focus on making sure he's in that nice close position. So that is where the training mode and the leisure mode comes in that I teach in the 21 Days to Loose Lead Dreams course. So with the leisure mode, which is what I encourage people to use kind of 80% of the time when you're just out walking your dog, And this is where your dog can wander around. It doesn't matter where they are in relation to you, but the lead must be loose, so they're not dragging you. Now for this, I don't use any treats when teaching it. And the idea is that you're using life rewards. Now the scientific term for this is the Premack principle, but I try not to use too much scientific jargon. It's also known as Grandma's law. So it's a bit like, eat your greens, then you can have pudding. So what we're teaching the dogs is, if the lead is nice and loose, you can then potter around, you can sniff, you can take in the information. Because all that is naturally very rewarding to your dog. Your dog wants to check out who's been there before, everything that's going on around them. And what we want to teach them is they can have access to all of this when the lead is nice and loose. So they're not dragging you from sniff to sniff. They're literally pottering along, taking it in as they go. So that is why I don't tend to use those kind of treats for that nice leisure mode. And this is actually very practical, because what you'll find is when you're out walking is you haven't got to pay 100% attention to your dog as you're pottering along the road. So I'll be out walking my dogs. I can be taking in the scenery, looking at what's going on around me, admiring nature. I'm quite into nature. I'm not putting 100% focus on making sure they're all walking to heel. In the same way, the dogs are all pottering along, enjoying the scent and everything that's going on around them. So it's a nice, calming, relaxing way to walk your dog. And it would work with those owners that I was talking about. They could be chatting away to their friends and they don't have to pay attention to their dog. Whereas that heel work that we taught in the class, you need a lot more focus for. So I do teach that heel work, I call it training mode, and that is covered in the 21-day course, and that does need treats and a lot more focus from you. And I say it's in there because I know a lot of owners do like it. However, in real life, that leisure mode, which I say is in the course as well, you don't use treats for because you're using everything that your dog wants as a reward. So now another example of this is, imagine you've gone to meet a friend at the airport. Now this is an old school friend that you haven't seen for years and years and years, and you're really excited about meeting up with them. You walk into the airport and you can see your friend at the distance. You really want to go and say hello to them, but somebody turns around and says to you, nope, don't, ignore your friend, have a biscuit instead. Now, I like biscuits, but still, if I wanted to say hello to my friend, that's going to be far more exciting than any kind of biscuits or food that anybody else can offer me. So that is why with dogs, it's not necessarily just about having a food reward that they want. Often there's so many other things that they want that you can use as rewards as well. So for your dog, we're saying, when the lead is loose, you can sniff, you can check things out, but you're not allowed to pull on the lead, which is, for a lot of dogs in that leisure mode situation, it's much better than saying, ignore everything, ignore the fact that you can smell the dog next door that you really like sniffing, I'm going to give you a biscuit instead. It just doesn't work, which is why, as I say, I don't use treats for that leisure mode. Well, any questions on that? So I do use treats for a lot of other training. I'm not against treats at all. But it's just something that, I say, for that leisure mode lead work, I avoid the treats because I use life rewards as they're known, and it makes it much more usable in everyday life and everyday situations. So do I have any questions? Anybody got anything going on? So I've got quite a few people watching, which is good. I say this is the weekly live that I do in this group. I'm also running a really exciting Stop the Pull live this week, and I have a separate pop-up Facebook group for that. If you're interested in joining, let me know. I say this is actually day 2, but you can still catch up on yesterday's video. And every day this week I'm doing a separate live in that group discussing a different topic. In a minute, so it's hubbus 10, they're live. I'm going to be discussing leaving the house and kind of stopping that pull before it starts. Yesterday we were talking about equipment. So if you're interested in joining, let me know. I say we are on day 2, but it's a very special event because it's not very often that I run a week's long of different lives every single day. And again, we're answering lots of questions and we've got a good discussion group going. So if you're interested in getting involved, let me know. So I can't see any questions. Hopefully that makes sense about why I don't rely on treats for lead work. And I'll say, the story and the background behind it, because I want to teach you a type of lead work that work in everyday situations, so you can go out for a walk, take the kids with you, have your friends and your partner with you, obviously COVID allows, and you're not having to 100% focus on your dog and making sure in the right position, which is what leisure mode is all about. If you're interested in knowing a bit more about training mode, leisure mode and how to teach it, please have a look at the 21 Days to Loose Lead Dreams, which is on the little Dog Owner Training School website, www.dogownertrainingschool.co.uk. Click on the link which goes to My Dog Pulls and you'll find all the information in there. We've got different packages, including live lessons for that. Yes, so any questions, let me know. Feel free, if you're re-watching this, please feel free to post comments below and I'll keep an eye on them and I'll answer them for you. Okay, so have a lovely day and hopefully you're beginning to get the hang of your dogs aren't pulling quite so much. Bye for now.